Assalamu alaikum viewers. Welcome to another new video of Kuruluş Osman. In the beginning of the episode, we see that after Osman's bayat, Sardar Yaqub happily says, "I am thankful to the Lord who has shown us this day. I don't want anything else."
As Osman says, since we are now united, then let's move towards Gaza. Upon this, Sardar Yaqub says, we will move forward. Our unity will always remain, God willing. Call the cavalry. Play the drums, sing loudly, come on, come on. Then he says to the soldier, send a messenger to the Sardar immediately. Tell them that Osman Sahib is now standing with us, and he has taken an oath of loyalty. At this time, a soldier comes in and says, the messenger of Mangalu has come. Along with this, the messenger of Mangalu pushes the soldier and enters the tent. Seeing this, Mehmed says in anger, shameless scoundrel, but Sardar Yaqub stops him and asks, who are you? How dare you enter my tent like this? In response, the scoundrel moves forward while eating with disgust, and he reaches in front of Sardar Yaqub and says, I have got this courage from the Alkanis. Then, looking at Osman Sahib, he says, I am the scoundrel of Ujjul Khan, but Yaqub, how did you get this courage? Who allowed you to call yourself Sultan? In response, Sardar Yaqub says, those who ask for permission are not called Sultan, but called rich. Tell me what you want, so that your life is long, scoundrel. But Yaqub, how did you get this courage? Who allowed you to call yourself Sultan? In response, Sardar Yaqub says, those who ask for permission are not called Sultan, but called rich. Tell me what you want, so that your life is long, scoundrel. On this, the scoundrel says, when you have declared yourself Sultan, then you will have to pay the sulit in every case. You will now pay the sulit that I used to pay in the Sultan. Hearing this, Osman Sahib says, be patient a little, those who are not paying the sulit of Yaqub. Why are you asking for it? You have come here like a fool. In response, the scoundrel says, you are definitely Osman, right? On this, Osman Sahib says, yes, absolutely. If you know my name, then you will also know the reason for my fame. Hearing this, the Mongol scoundrel says, I know you have hurt our commanders and governors. Yaqub, is Osman with you? So Sardar Yaqub says, yes, Osman Sahib is with me. There is unity in our lands. Hearing this, the scoundrel says, beautiful. Now listen to me. You will pay 50,000 coins and 20,000 coins of gold annually in exchange for Osman's blood. You have only 2 days. Hearing this, Osman Sahib says, look at me. If you try to give us orders, instead of doing the work of a scoundrel, then you will lose your head. The scoundrel says, I am saying the words of Jato Khan, what you cannot say in front of him. Do not do it in front of me either. You have only 2 days. Saying this, he picks up more food and eats it, and says, whatever your ownership is, it is because we have given permission for it. Saying this, as soon as the scoundrel passes by Osman Sahib abducts him. Seeing this scene, Sardar Yaqub says, do not do this, Osman Sahib. Answering, Osman Sahib says, when we become a state, then you will see who pays the taxes. On this, the scoundrel says, if something happens to me, then these lands, which you call your home, will be turned into a sea of blood. Hearing the words of the scoundrel, Osman Sahib's anger increases further, but after thinking for a long time, he leaves the scoundrel and says angrily, we will send gold. Now go from here. So, leaving, the scoundrel says, 2 days, only 2 days. After the scoundrel's departure, Sardar Yaqub asks Osman Sahib, Osman Sahib, you were looking calm today, when you bought the shop and deducted the gold. 70,000 dirhams, out of which 20,000 you will pay in return. Hearing the words of Sardar Yaqub, Osman Sahib looks at him in anger. Here in Yeni city, Osman Sahib's soldiers are helping their wounded companions, while the scoundrel is carrying the scoundrel. and moving forward, and says, "May Allah help us. Be patient, brothers, be patient. Someone stole gold and did all this. We will look for them." As soon as he reaches near the scoundrel acts to be injured and comes in front of him. So the scoundrel asks, "Are you okay?" The scoundrel says, "I am fine, sir. Nothing happened to me." With this, the scoundrel takes Burhan and moves forward. After the scoundrel's departure, we see the scoundrel goes to a room, opens the chest and puts a gold bag in the chest, and then closes the chest as if someone has closed it in a hurry. The scoundrel says, "Gold will be your death," the scoundrel. He says. He leaves the room. Viewers, after this, we see Osman Sahib looking at the side of the dagger, says to Sardar Yaqub, "Whatever you just said, Yaqub, is it a punishment or a request? First tell me this." The answer, Sardar Yaqub says, "Osman Sahib, you have taken my oath. This is neither a request nor a punishment, but an order." The answer. Osman Sahib says, "War is a marriage for us. The marriage of 70,000 gold coins has come. I have never seen such a magnificent marriage before. Keep the other Sardar away from it. I will pay gold for it. I will pay gold for it. With the help of Allah. I am worthy of it. Now, since you are the Sultan, then you should address the issue of money. Who all these money makers have become a victim of? Poverty. If we keep paying these money, no one will be able to tolerate it." The answer, Sardar Yaqub says, "Osman Sahib, do not worry at all. That time will also come." The answer, Osman Sahib says, "The time will come. The enemy will get a chance to defeat us." The answer, Sardar Yaqub says, "You do your work, Osman Sahib. I will do what a sultan should do. Come on, play the drums," he says. And Sardar Yaqub sits at the table to eat. At this moment, when the army comes there and says something to Osman Sahib looks very worried. Seeing him worried like this, Sardar Yaqub asks, "Is there any bad news?" The answer, Osman Sahib says, "Something bad has happened." So Sardar Yaqub says, "I hope nothing has happened that will stop you from your duty." Hearing this, Osman Sahib says, "No, this will not happen, but if we leave now, we will reach there in the morning. Forgive me." Saying this, Osman Sahib starts going. So Sardar Yaqub says, "Osman Sahib, get ready to sleep. Do not embarrass yourself in front of the enemy, and neither should we." In this state of worry, hearing this from Sardar Yaqub, Osman Sahib gets very angry, but he goes from there without saying anything. Here in Yenishire, a doctor is treating Burhan. While the monkey is with him, Burhan says in pain, "They stole the gold." With this, the doctor's wounds begin to bleed, seeing Burhan in pain. He's trying hard to encourage the monkey. Viewers, after this, we see that Osman Sahib is constantly killing Yenishire with his soldiers and sons. Ustid Guvera is present in the secret room. At this moment, Wesley says there, "We hid the gold where you said." Ustid Guvera, what is going on in your mind? Ustid Guvera throws a coin of gold and says, "Poison." He hates Osman. Burhan is fighting the battle of life and death. Then he throws another coin and says, "The next person standing in the queue is Bender Bey. I will separate him from Osman in such a way that Osman will be left alone." Wesley asks him, "And what will you do with the gold?" Ustid Guvera says, "Gold, they will be looking for it everywhere. They will try their best to find it. Faisal Alp will also ask you. You will play your role without wasting time. There." Osman Sahib enters Yenishire in a lot of anger, and quickly moving forward, he asks, "Bender Bey's Burhan's aha?" Jawan Bender says, "Uzur was on the Nurbik Raga, and I was busy with commercial work. Burhan Bey was this aha. All of the gold has been stolen." Hearing this, Osman Sahib says, "What are you saying?" Hearing Bender, Osman Sahib's son, and his daughter-in-law also get very worried. Bender further says, "The soldiers who were protecting him He and Burhan are injured. Hearing this, Osman Sahib says, "Because of this gold, I have paid a high price to the Mongols." So Connor says, "Someone had a treasure chest, sir. They brought the goods." Then Bender says, "Don't the soldiers know what time it is to bring the goods? No goods were to come to the palace." Upon this, Osman Sahib says, "So this is not a mistake. This is treachery. Is this treachery?" So Bender suddenly says, "Yes, sir." With this, Connor moves forward and says to Osman Sahib, "If you allow it, we will stop the attack in the west." So Bender says, "Yes, of course. Call all the men to Yenisha." But Osman Sahib silences them in a fit of anger and says, "Not at all. We will move back because they attacked us. Yes. We can't stop. They damaged our palace and house. If you are afraid or in any doubt, then go and wait to die in your wife's arms. No one will move back. Close all the doors of Yenisha. Look for those who are coming and going. If you have any doubt on anyone, investigate." At this time, Westless comes there and says, Sir, when I was injured, I heard about a place." So Osman Sahib suddenly says to Orhan, "Go to the place where Orhan Solia Faisal is telling. Look for gold and theft." Then Westless says, "You also go with Orhan." With this, they all leave from there. So the part 1 of Bolam 135 is complete, inshallah. Part 2 will be uploaded after a while. If you like this video, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon.